Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I want to talk about my stepdad and how the Lord led him back to me right after I surrendered my life. I think it was a year after I had was serving in the church at the time in 2010, 11. I think it was around 2011. Now I had cremated my mom, walked, you know what I mean, like, and we were disconnected, and again, this man was in my mom's life pretty much since I was, how old? He was in my, since, how old was I when like 4 years old. So he knew me, you know, he tried to help raise, you know what I mean? Like, and I shared in the beginning, I think one of my stories, that just all the abuse I saw with her, and, you know, watching him, you know, verbally, mentally, physically abuse her. And so, yeah, I think I shared all that, you know, in that video. So anyways, the Lord led this man, okay? We don't know where I don't know where this man was. I was just serving God. And the Lord led him to the church I was going to at the time. And so anyways, and I was just, you know, serving God, and it was, at the time it was called Breakaway, and just laughing, you know, and he comes around the corner, and he's like, I knew that laugh, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Mike. And so, and I was all just hugging him, and, you know, and said, how are you? And you know what I mean? Like, and, I was just talking about, you know, the Lord and stuff like that, and just sharing with him, you know what I mean? Like, and, just, you know, sharing about God, and like, he could, you know, change your life, and like, and just sharing the gospel, you know what I mean? And so, that day he chose to, surrender his life, you know, and there was another person that prayed with him, and accepted him, you know, and, he accepted God in his heart that day, you know, and, I was sharing with him at the time, you know, like, when you really truly, I was telling him, like, you really serve God, you know, and you accept God in your heart, you're going to face a lot of battles, you know what I mean? Like, and this is where, you know, when you come to God and you're really surrendering your life, you're going to, like, this man had a lot of, you know, how you can say it? Like, I guess his demons, you know what I mean, in his life, and things, you know, he's, again, going by what he knew at the time, and my stepdad didn't have, again, nobody in his life. I remember him a few times, talking about, you know, he didn't have his father, and, I forgot what he says about his mom, but he didn't have good role models in his life, you know what I mean? And so, again, this man was a very, very hard worker, and he did provide for us, you know what I mean? And so, but there was just a lot of still, you know, and at the time my mom had us three and my other three brothers and sisters, from him. And, and I just remember, you know what I mean? Like, again, I share, my mom wasn't called to break these generational things. And, again, I saw her mentally, physically be beat down, financially, you know, and, in and out, you know what I mean? Like, again, trying to break these cycles. And, I saw him in and out her life, you know, and, I think up until I was 10 years old, okay? Yeah, so when I was 10 years old, that's when my dad decided to take us, you know, my biological dad and my stepdad didn't get along at the time, you know, and so, anyways, my dad decided just to take us one day, you know what I mean? And not tell my mom, and that's when we left to California. But anyways, so he gave himself to the Lord. That's what so he came back and he gave himself to the Lord. And I remember he was led to the same shelter I was at, and in the same van, I remember. And anyways, they picked them up and stuff. And so eventually I forgot how, but he stayed with me for like a month or two at that time when I got I think that was my first apartment after the program I went to. And he just started, you know, we got to make amends, you know what I mean? I got to heal that part of me, you know, and he just got to open up and, you know, and apologize for everything that he did when I was younger, and even for my mom, and, you know, and just was very open, you know, and I think he, even cried, you know, and I told him, you know, and I was talking to him, you know, and I said thank you, you know what I mean, and I told him thank you for, you know, what you did, you know, like, and I thank you for providing for us at that age, you know, and I know you didn't know, you know what I mean, like, and you knew what you knew, and I'm thankful for you apologizing and owning up to this, and owning up to this, and I said, I gave him a hug, and, you know, and I said, I just want you to know I love you and I forgive you, you know, and I mean, we just opened up about everything, you know, and again, he just, when my mom died, like, this man was lost, you know, and so because that's all he'd known, you know what I mean, like, he would go and come and go and come, and in all my mom's life, you know, and even later on, you know, and so I wish that she was able to, you know what I mean, like, have better, you know, and in her life, you know, and but again, like I share, she wasn't called, or she couldn't finish, you know, breaking these cycles, you know, and so I was just very thankful for the Lord bringing this man back into my life to heal that part of me, and so anyways, after a while, that's when I left. I moved, and then he left, and I think I went into another program again in the beginning of my healing journey, and I was in the Colorado Springs, yeah. But anyways, so he would always call me, you know, and I would lift him up and encourage him, you know. He was, again, dealing with a lot, you know, and then not my mom being gone, you know, it's like, and his kids were not in his life at the time, and so he would just call me, and, you know, and he would just be dealing with, you know, his demons, you know what I mean, like, and just, he was alone, and so at that time, you know, I kept calling and kept picking up the phone, and, you know, and I would pray with him, and I would just, you know, talk to him a lot, you know, And then one day he called. I didn't pick up for whatever reason that day. And the next day I got a call, and from, I don't know how, I'm trying to see who. I don't know if it was my brother or who they contacted, but the place that he was staying at the time, the hotel, they called, I think they called my other brother, his number, his older son, and my brother contacted me and told me that they found him in a hotel and he hung himself. And I guess mentally he wasn't strong, you know, and I remember that time, you know, I broke down and cried, you know, and because no matter what, I still had love for this man, and I wanted to see him thrive, you know, and I go over my mind, and I, you know, again, you know, when he just had a lot in his life that he's done, you know, and he was trying to make peace with it, you know, and he was in and out of jail a lot, I remember, you know, and but I was so thankful, you know, and I'm glad that I got to thank him, and I'm glad that I got to heal that part, and just us having that moment, you know, so I could heal that part of me, you know, when I was a child. And this is the first step that God, like, literally led this person to me, you know, and I'm thankful that I got that, you know. My brothers, and then they didn't get that, and so I really believe that God led this man, you know what I mean, like, and to receive that salvation, you know, and he genuinely received the Lord, you know, and it was just dealing with, you know, as the beginning part, you know, when you first come to God, you know what I mean, like, and you're really trying to change, you know, and I always, you know, I didn't want to but yeah, that was the first part of, you know, something that God led me to heal my life, you know, and I remember crying a lot, you guys, and my heart just, you know, felt for that person, you know, and just learning not to carry, you know, we'll talk about more of that, but not carry that weight on me, you know, and he just dealt with a lot, and, you know, in his own life, you know, and in and out, and he was, you know, just dealing with his battles, you know, and again, I really believe that God, you know, led this man and to receive him in his heart, and then that happened. And so I really believe, I know we all have different beliefs in that situation, but like, I believe that God has taken him home, you know what I mean? And so because And I'm just very, very thankful, you guys. And I was very thankful, and I got to close that part of me. And we just got to talk about everything, you know, and a lot of stuff, and then make some jokes, you know what I mean, like, and so yes, that was that part of my journey. And I was very, very, very thankful, you know, and yeah. So thank you for listening, and I want to say God bless you, and I'll see you in my next video. Yeah. Hi guys, I just wanted to add to this is we forgive. And one thing that he taught me throughout my journey, as you get to know me, is that I've learned to forgive because it helps me continue growing, you know, and doesn't allow the enemy to plant that seed, you know what I mean? And it's like God will have you in a certain position until you learn to forgive, you know, because you don't want that, you don't want to harbor that bitterness or anything like that, you know, and anybody in our lives that hurt us, you know, or in those situations, you know. And one thing I've learned is that, you know, again, I forgive people so I can continue growing, you know what I mean? And those people in our lives, you know what I mean? Like, that's between them and God, you know what I mean? And I've learned how to be a really, really, really good forgiver, okay? And we'll talk about that later, about forgiveness and how, you know, when you forgive somebody and doesn't mean they have to be in your life, you know. And we're going to talk about that more later on. And but in this situation, you know, God allowed this man, again, my stepdad, to allow me to heal that, you know what I mean? And that part of me, you know, and get closure, you know. And so in not all situations, I like that, you know. And so I felt it was more on his end than mine. And so but yeah, I always forgive. I would always share my heart, you know what I mean? Like, and again, that was part of the beginning of my journey, you know what I mean? Like, in healing these wounds and my trauma, you know, or my things that were, you know, in my life, you know, and at the time. And so, but yeah, I've learned to forgive because I get to continue growing. I get to move on, you know what I mean? And so, and I already, you know, in that process began forgiving him, you know, but it was really cool, again, how God allowed that, you know, and very thankful. And yeah, at the beginning of my forgive. And yeah, God is good. I just wanted to share that part and add that to this video. God bless. Bye.